every few years, it is said that every 7 years people change, right? Every 7 years people change. Well, by golly, the Sisters Enchanted is about to be 7 years old. Anna and I have been doing this for 7 years. And what we're going to talk about on today's podcast episode is how we are shifting at just about 7 years old, how we've shifted, and a little bit about the witch word. We know that you were born magical. We know that you are intuitive, and we know that you are brimming with everyday enchantment. Here at the Sisters Enchanted, we believe in intention, we believe in intuition, and we believe in everyday magic. Welcome in to the Expedition to Soul podcast. Welcome into today's Expedition to Soul podcast. That's right. We're talking about what it's like to be a witch after 7 years of declaring your witchiness on the internet, how things have shifted. I'm Sarah, founder of the Sisters Enchanted, and I'm joined by...
Hi. I'm Anna, co-founder here at the Sisters Enchanted.
You know, Anna, I love the delay you have in your responses because it makes me laugh, but also editing the podcast, they all have to be edited out. All of the delays.
Well, sometimes I can't tell if you're going to introduce me and I'm just going to say hi, or if you're opening it up for me to introduce myself.
Yeah, I need one of a sign that I hold up when it's time for you to talk.
Green light.
Yeah, green light go, red light stop. Flip it around like a paddle, an auction paddle. Now is your time. Anyway, Anna, we have been doing this for almost 7 years. So in 7 years, we've made quite a few changes, I would say, in the last almost 2 years. I think the bulk, the biggest changes we've made have been in the last probably 20 months or so.
I concur.
You concur. So there's this idea that every 7 years we shift and we grow into a new sort of version of ourselves. And we lined this up with our 5 eyes a while back. And at this age, we would be moving into the sort of integrate, taking action on everything we've learned the last 7 years. Would you say, Anna, that is true for us?
I would say, yeah, that we are doing that. I would say that we're more than integrating. We're higher octave integrating, but yes. I don't have a way to explain it, but I feel we're we've learned, and we're also not just integrating, we're making it happen.
Yeah. Well, that's I think that how many times can I say yeah in a row?
As many times as you need
to get the point across.
Red light.
No, I think that, so we will officially be 7 years old in May. So just in about 2 months of recording this. Actually, I think 2 months to the day. And just some of the conversations we're having about, because we're already talking about 2024. We're already thinking, what does that look like? And so, and of course, we have our planner now. So that 2024 is very much on our minds because that needs to be ready in the next few months. And so when you're a business owner, it's a lot if you, you're really always thinking way ahead of where you are now. And
we're always trying to find the keys to our DeLorean.
Yeah.
And the button, trying to find it in the parked garage because we need to get back in it.
Yeah, always. But I feel very much with the conversations we've been having that, and maybe it's the energy of spring also, and just closing out that winter energy, but it feels very much like we are solidifying our stake in the ground. 7 years we've been doing this, and I would say that for the first time in 7 years, that there's a true sense of clarity of what's our, for lack of better word, our legacy. What is the mark we're leaving on a big memorable way?
Mm-hmm.
And it feels very much right in front of us. We can almost right there. We just need to put the frosting on the cake.
Yes.
Yeah. So not only is the business is going to be 7 years old, but we have been teaching all things witchy, magical, spiritual, woo-woo online for 7 years. And I would say for sure that both of us, our relationship to all of those things has also shifted in 7 years.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wonder how many of our listeners were like present and aware of the Doreen Virtue incident of what year was that? Like 2000.
Oh,
I don't know. It was like 4 years ago, right? 5 years
yeah.
ago. It was a while ago.
It's been a little while.
Yeah. So we're not pulling a Doreen Virtue. Don't worry. But
Weird like segue because I was like, we're not pulling a Doreen Virtue.
no, we're not. But like
so take a deep breath now.
Yeah, take a deep breath. But for people who don't know, Doreen Virtue, she made tons of card decks, Oracle card decks, tarot cards, really super popular. Like you see them everywhere. But then like suddenly overnight, it seemed overnight to people witnessing. I mean, it probably wasn't for her, but she just was like, basically overnight, all of this intuitive stuff is like the devil's work and no one should be doing it. I'm not doing any of it. She like got out of all of her publishing contracts, got her name off. So like anything that's printed now that's the same product doesn't have her name on it. So that's like I don't know what
she
that
denounced everything.
Denounced, yeah. Yes. So that's not a shift. That's like I don't know what that was. Yeah. Sorry. If you talk like at the same time that I am, your mic doesn't pick it up and you can't hear what you're saying. Oh, well, no, it's okay. I'm trying to see when you're opening your mouth to stop talking. Yeah, but she like took her Titanic and crashed it on purpose. And why I bring that up though is that just remembering that people do change over time, you know? And I would say that Anna and I we've not changed like that. I think we have definitely shifted perspective and understanding.
Correct.
Yeah. Do you want to add anything to that so that I'm not talking over your
No, I think that it's just interesting. I think that Sarah was just saying it would maybe be a fun activity to like go back and listen to some of our old things that we've said on podcasts or classes. And like what a trip that would be to like listen to like what you've said and then like think about it now and how you've changed as a person. And I think that it's very interesting because like we say this and like you as a listener, if you've been here for a long time, you know, maybe held your chest a little bit there when Sarah brought up Doreen Virtue. But I think that like a member of our community would also see how much they've changed. You know, like how much we've all changed because you can see the change in like some of the conversations that we have and things like that, like where focus is more now than what it was in the beginnings. Yeah, I think we've all like really kind of grown up.
Yeah, for sure. And which is interesting because I think no matter what age you are, you can always say you've grown up a little bit, you know, just based in your perspective, yeah, or your energy around something. I think what I can say is that working with so many people online that we've worked with gave us or has given and continues to give us such a unique perspective on everything. So 7 years ago when we started the Sisters Enchanted, we were literally just teaching tarot. Like let's read tarot.
Remember the good old days of 78 days of tarot?
Yeah, one video a day. Yeah, Anna did a video a day for, I think there was like one day that you had to do two. Other than that, 78 days straight, Anna did a video for a tarot card. And like we were just straight teaching tarot. We taught like runes and casting runes and our everyday magic class, which was very much just like how to cast a spell, how to create an altar, a sacred space, how to cast a circle, like with a little bit of mindset in there because obviously like you've got to think about what it is that you're doing. But it was very like you could open up like a spell book and like that was the Sisters Enchanted. And now we have so much of the personal development woven into what we do. And the reason for that shift came from us really witnessing from the people that we come in contact with. So we've had over 300,000 people come through our free things. Just like sit with that for a second. 300,000 people have registered for something, one of our free offers. And then like, I don't know, around 10,000 for our paid classes. And if there's one thing that I have learned from this, well, one thing is that nobody is as unique as they think they are. Like everybody, all of us think like, well, no one can understand how I feel right now. Or like, you're not in my shoes. My experience is different because it's this thing that happened. Listen, I can tell you that like literally so many people can understand how you're feeling. And maybe the circumstance looks a little different, but people are not that different. Like people are very, very similar. And then aside from learning that though, and really understanding that, what I have learned is this: whenever we look at tarot or candles or crystals or like casting a spell or working with the moon, and it's just about that, and it's not about you and your growth, it just becomes another thing you bought, another tarot deck, another crystal. Like, and yeah, Anna's pointing to hers, another book about the moon. It just becomes like another thing you purchase. And that doesn't mean it's bad. Like, you know, I love jewelry. I'll buy earrings all day long. I love tarot. I'll buy tarot decks all day long. I'll buy crystals. But people, when we're buying them to say like, well, this crystal is going to help me with whatever, this tarot deck is going to help me understand something, but it won't if you aren't growing right along with it. And that became so just like a, you know, hit us both like a pan over the head in a cartoon. Probably like 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago, that it was really like, goodness gracious, goodness.
Yeah. Well, I think about like, as you can see, I mean, obviously my background is a little bit of a shambles right now as Team TSC's shipping department has moved into my office, as well as young children on some days. But I've got like all this stuff that I've collected over the years, all these tarot decks and crystals and things that I bought because I was like, this is going to be like the tarot deck that like really breaks it through for me. This is going to be the one that I lean on like forever and always. And I just kept, you know, buying things to fill that hole, and like the period to my why, you know, like why, like what's next, like what am I trying to do, and supporting that practice of like what's next with all these things. And in the journey of trying to find like the perfect practice, and so like always buying things to try to find the perfect practice, to like sit down now and like my perfect practice is the same journal I've been using for the last like 3 years that has still tons of pages left, because it gets written in sometimes a lot and sometimes not a lot, and like the same 3 decks that like I love to use, they stay here, and everything else stays over there. And just like how actually minimal my like needs are to like do anything when I thought my needs were so vast. You know what I mean? And now I look at all these things sometimes and I'm like, it's a whole lot of tarot decks that have not been shuffled in a long time.
Yeah. And then like there's, oh, see, I talked over you and your mic cut out. What were you saying?
It's okay. I was gonna say I really changed, because there was a time that like I did like rotate decks every month and like took journals to them and like certain spreads and tried to work with things in certain ways. And I, you know, just realized like after a certain amount of time that is not like, it's not a sustainable practice for me. Like, so I've changed a lot in like that way.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, to highlight that there's nothing wrong with that either. And that's like, I think the point you're trying to make is that the greater shift is understanding who you are, what you need, and the growth in yourself that allows whatever your tool is right now to do the job you want it to do. And so right now, like Anna's stage of life, she's got little ones, and like real little ones at home, little kidlings, and like just not something she's doing. You know, she works, she's got kids. And so for her, it looks very different. And for, you know, like somebody else, you might really want that whole like new tarot deck every month. What's the one I'm connecting to for this season? And we're not saying don't do that. That's not at all we're saying. I think that the shift is the realization, like the why was I doing it? because it made, like, I think that's really the shift is like and I don't want to speak for you, but like, was it because you were trying to, I don't know, like feel the witchiest version of yourself, or because it was really helping you tap into something, right. And like, that's the difference is this, what am I bringing to the tool as much as what is the tool bringing to me? And that's been a big shift for me also. And just like seeing that a tool without you being the other half of it is not helpful, right. And so what you've seen, the shift with us and the shift in the way we teach is really like so much more of that personal growth mindset with the tools as the thing that supports you when that's what you want. Right. Because of what we've learned really, and again, this is from experience of working with thousands of people, is that finding the perfect crystal, the perfect tarot deck, it's that same, like that question, the thing you're trying to solve is often still a problem a month later. But when you can find the answer within yourself, when you can say, what's my thought process around that? How can I have a new thought? And then get the crystal to support you and remind you of your new thought, mm-hmm. that problem shifts and like might resolve and a new one might pop up, but that's when you see the change.
Yeah, no, I was definitely trying to like figure out what was like wrong with me, air quotes, if you're listening. Like I was definitely trying to figure out like what was wrong with me, or like always had like this barrier of not believing that like I was reading tarot, or I was and could, but like I kept like trying to find like the one deck that was gonna like land it home for me and was gonna like knock my socks off and like give me all the clarity in the world. And like that's just not like, it didn't result in that way for me. And like what Sarah just said, the why was I doing that? Because like I was trying to like fulfill something in me that I thought that I needed to fill in myself without lots of other things.
Yes. So anyway, 7-year growth, 7-year mm-hmm. shift. The word witch, we were going to talk about that. And I realize we're been on now for like 17 minutes. So we should probably wrap this up, but just how that has shifted also. And I think that for me, definitely 7 years ago, and even because I bought my first book about being a witch and my first tarot deck when I was a teenager. And so for a long time, like that word meant something to me. And that's definitely shifted for me more in like, just, I very much think of the word witch as a very rebellious word and very powerful word. But like, what are you, it's really the otherness of it and the mystery of it. And for me now, like I actually would associate the word more with my life decisions than necessarily a tool. I think that, just the way I live my life is very other and mm-hmm. rebellious, and helping other people to think of themselves in their best light and live the life they desire to live, like mm-hmm. be their most authentic selves. I think that's very rebellious. So I would actually say, like, in terms of identifying as a witch, that when I see like that, like the black gown and the like cackle, like, hey, to me now, like I feel that way when somebody tells me that like they did something wild, like they quit their job and did this thing, or they like, I don't know, went and jumped into the ocean for the first time and under a full moon, or like, that's when I see, like, that's my image of myself where I'm like, hey, like you've come to the dark side.
Yeah,
like that feels like that to me as opposed to the tool. But that's me. That's not necessarily everybody, but that's what feels to me when I'm just like, meh.
It's funny. I think that probably the last time we had this conversation, it was in a time in my life where like a lot of people were meeting me for the first time and were like, Anna's a witch. And I like huddled around me thinking that I was like some sort of like mystical, magical unicorn person with like secrets. And you know, a third eye that you could like open and close, like that was like visible, you know, that I could like see people's like ancestors behind them and stuff like that. And I was like, that's not how this works. But like people really thought that of me. And I think it's really funny that when I look down the road to now, that the people that used to treat me that way definitely do not treat me that way now and don't like see me with that kind of like, what's the word? They don't see me that way. I think like the illusion, the secret, fun,
the mystery
worn off on them because like I'm just a regular person. And I think for me, I resonate with what Sarah said, that like, yeah, doing something like bold and empowering is like very like parallel witch word aligned. But I think like for me, I think that like when I'm in my like most magical making self is, well, one, being confident in you know, my mind and body that I have these days in my life. I think that's one of the most magical things I've ever like achieved in life. And not only that, but just like when I'm in like my kitchen, when I like to me, like when I make like a new like herbal concoction, or I grew something from sourdough starter from my counter, that's like the most magical thing and like empowering thing that like I do for myself and my family now. Like for me, I think I've always been aligned with like the kitchen witch, the green witch. And I think that like I've more settled into that in a functional way.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that I've become a very like functional, stepping into who I was meant to be, supposed to be. I think I've like done that in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Love it. It definitely shifted, but that's not to say, just to reiterate, that we aren't still doing all the witch things. I mean, I'm as psychic as ever. I'm as intuitive as ever, seeing those past lives, mediumship experiences, slinging my tarot cards, picking up rocks and talking to the ocean. You know, that is not. So anybody who's like, that has not gone away. The witch life still reigns supreme around here. And also, though, I think the thing we want to highlight is just that we have shifted in how we show up for the world, because I don't think that it's helping. I don't think that we can help people in the way that we want to and really impact lives and the world at large by just like, here's how to read tarot. You know, like certainly you can make impact because that can change people. But I think for us, what we've seen is that we make the biggest impact when we help people understand themselves, do the shadow work. That's why we have the expansion archetypes, the tool, like the 5-eye spiral we teach in holistic witchery now. So holistic witchery used to be very like, basically like, here, let's be like, here's all the things to be a spiritual witch type person in your life. And now it's part that, and part also, here's a rhythm and a method that you can actually use in your life to stay organized, to be more confident, to bring things into your life, to reflect, to do mindset work. And we brought that in, and it's from realizing that, you know, just teaching somebody how to read tarot, just teaching somebody how to like cast a circle is such a disservice, because if your mind isn't available for it, like if you're not there energetically yourself, it's literally not helping you. So I guess like we should have I need to cut that part out and put it in a clip somewhere in the beginning, because like that's the point. That's the whole point of this.
Yeah. You're not going to find what you're looking for by pulling cards from 10 different tarot decks in the same day, asking the same question because you're trying to get like a breakthrough. Like that's not how it works. And I know that I definitely like did that at one point and thought that like that's what like that's making the magic. That's the witch life. And that's definitely not how I feel now today in this body.
Yeah. So when you see us now and you hear like the expansion archetypes, the 5-eye spiral and holistic witchery, when you join Holistic Witchery, which is open for registration, we're going to teach you about grids. We're going to teach you how to read tarot. We're going to teach you how to cast a spell. We're going to teach you how to work with the moon, the energy centers. We're going to teach you all of that. But on the other hand, we're going to, it's like a lot of mindset, a lot of reflection, a lot of shadow work, a lot of, you know, how do I strengthen my mind around what I want, not just find the right tool and put it in the right place. And that's really the shift, I think, that we've seen. And it really comes to like what a disservice it is to teach something when a person isn't energetically there to use it in a way that's actually helpful. So the witch word, the 7-year shift, 7 years almost. We're definitely going to do an episode. We're going to pull up some old videos and record ourselves watching them and like what we have to say about it. Anna and I never watch ourselves back. That is not an exaggeration. The only time that I ever watch anything back is if I'm trying to find a clip for something, and I don't like watch the whole thing. I just like skip through trying to find it. I never watch myself back ever.
I'm always a little nervous when somebody's like, "Oh, I was watching that video of Anna," and I'm like, "What video of Anna?" I'm like, "What did I say? What did I think? Like,
what say you?
What came out during that live? What opinion did I have?"
I was in the video.
Goodness.
You know how many hours of video and audio that like I have created?
It's scary.
So, I know. People will be like, "Sarah, you're saying this thing." I'm just like, I am probably. There's so many hours of things that I've said. And all great, all worthy. And also it's been so cool to interact with so many people online. And I think it's made us so much better than we ever thought we could be at what we do. So much better. And the Holistic Witchery as it stands right now, it's a fully like revamped curriculum coming out. I'm so proud of it. It is, I think, the best, the expansion archetypes, like the best work that we've ever done. It's coming out right now. So
yes,
super cool. All right then. Well, if you want to experience Holistic Witchery, hang out with us. You can find more information at holisticwitchery.com. And if anyone's been around with us for 7 years or 6 years or 5 years, I know that you have definitely, because people tell us all the time how we've shifted and had a glow up and all of that. So thank you for being here for all of these years. We're going to have more 7-year celebration episodes to come. But yeah, it's been so fun. And I look forward, like, I can't even imagine where we will be in 7 more years.
Me neither.
Isn't that weird to think about?
Yes.
It's super weird. All right. Well, head over to holisticwitchery.com. Learn more about the program, newly revamped. Like I said, we kicked off March 27th. You're going to learn all the witch things, and we're going to make it work for you because we are going to help you get your mind, your energy, the embodiment, the ethereal, all of it comes together in Holistic Witchery.
I like it.
The best out there. All right, y'all. Thank you for listening in, and we hope that you have an enchanted
rest of your day
ahead. Bye.
Holistic Witchery is a coming home to yourself. Holistic Witchery is an online course. Holistic Witchery is a community, and Holistic Witchery is life-changing. A little bit of personal development and a very heavy dash of magic makes this course different than anything else you will find out there. Our community is top-notch, our support is top-notch, and what you will learn about yourself along the way will surprise even you. When we think about the community members who participated in Holistic Witchery, we are proud to say that the aha moments, the feedback, the deep change, the life awareness that comes, the self-awareness, the soul alignment that comes from participating in Holistic Witchery is absolutely awe-inspiring. What you'll have are pre-recorded videos, you'll have live video support in the form of group gatherings, you will have printables and worksheets and prompts, and you will have a whole community of magic makers just like you to walk alongside you on this journey. There is not one right person that Holistic Witchery is for. Holistic Witchery is for you if you're a stay-at-home mom. It's for you if you're retired. It's for you if you are a person who works 3 jobs and is burning the candle at both ends. It's particularly for you if that's the case. Holistic Witchery is for you if you love the word witch and if it makes you shiver a little and you're not quite sure what to make of it. Holistic Witchery is for everybody. And there is something here that every single person can learn and grow from. And we can't wait to see which little bit of Holistic Witchery is that thing for you. Welcome home, Magic Maker.
Thank you to everyone. Sisters Enchanted has changed my life inside and out.
And I just wanted to be here to be here for everyone else and support them, and I don't know, just sharing their in the celebration. That's all.
I was like, well, you want to tell them how I've changed since this? But yeah, no, just thank you guys so much. I'm still a jumbled mess, but I think I'm a little less of a jumbled mess since I started this. And it's really cool to see that I have more potential than I thought I did. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you
So much, but
Now we have a home. At least that's what I feel. So again, I just wanted to tag on to that one that a lot of us don't have a lot of friends and we're doing our own thing. And like I said, I don't care what the rest of the world thinks. I got friends here. So thank you guys again. I love you all.
I think each person comes here and takes away something with them. And for some people, it's more of the mindset stuff. For some people, it's more of like soul, goddessy, priestessy, like good juicy stuff. For some people, it's learning tarot and astrology, and they feel like it's very different. But I think it's very interesting to me how it's one thing, and to each person, it's something entirely different.